There comes a point in almost everyone's life when life quietly takes everything familiar away. Friends drift apart, you move to a new city, your career changes, or perhaps nothing dramatic happens at all. Yet one day you find yourself sitting alone with nowhere to run from your own thoughts. Most people fear that moment, then immediately reach for their phone, turn on the television, call someone, or fill every empty hour with noise because silence feels uncomfortable. But what if that uncomfortable silence isn't your enemy? What if it's an invitation? Because at least once in your life, you need to experience true solitude, not loneliness, not isolation, solitude. The kind where no one is telling you who you should be, what you should think, or how you should live. Because only then do you finally meet the person you have been spending your whole life avoiding, yourself. And strangely, the better you know yourself, the healthier every relationship in your life becomes. Not because other people change, but because you do. Today, let's talk about the quiet power of solitude and why spending time alone may be one of the greatest gifts you can ever give yourself. Solitude helps you meet the real you. Most of us spend our lives becoming who the world expects us to be: a good daughter, a reliable friend, a caring partner, a hardworking employee. Without realizing it, our identity slowly becomes stitched together from other person's expectations. Psychologists sometimes call this the social self, the version of us that exists in response to everyone around us. And there's nothing wrong with having a social self. We need it. Human beings are social creatures. But the problem begins when we become so busy performing that we forget who we are underneath the performance. When you're constantly surrounded by people, you're always responding, replying, listening, adjusting, agreeing, explaining. You're reacting to life. Very rarely do you pause long enough to ask, what do I actually want? What genuinely makes me happy? Do these dreams belong to me, or were they handed to me by someone else? Solitude creates space for those questions. At first, the answers don't come. Instead, you will probably meet boredom, restlessness, and even discomfort. Because for the first time, there's no distraction between you and your own mind. But if you stay there without rushing to escape, something beautiful begins to happen. Your own voice slowly becomes louder than everyone else's. And perhaps that is the beginning of knowing yourself. It builds emotional independence. One of the greatest misconceptions about happiness is believing someone else is responsible for creating it. We often think, when I find the right partner, when my friends understand me, when someone really chooses me, then I'll feel complete. But that's a dangerous foundation for happiness, because anything that depends entirely on another person can also disappear with another person. Psychologists describe this as emotional dependence, where your emotional state rises and falls based on someone else's attention, approval, or presence. We have all experienced it. Waiting for a text, checking if someone viewed your story, feeling wonderful because someone praised us, and feeling worthless because they didn't. The more we rely on others to regulate our emotions, the less stable our inner world becomes. Solitude gently teaches a different lesson. It teaches you that comfort can come from within, that peace isn't always something another person gives you. Sometimes it's something you create for yourself through quiet mornings, books, walks, prayer, journaling, music, nature. Simple moments where you learn, I can enjoy my own company. That's incredibly freeing. Because when you're emotionally independent, you stop asking people to complete you. Instead, you invite them to share a life that is already whole. And relationships built from wholeness are far healthier than relationships built from need. Solitude gives your heart space to heal. There are wounds that no advice can fix, no motivational quote can erase, and no amount of staying busy can truly heal. Grief, heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal, the loss of someone you loved, or even the loss of the person you thought you would become. Many of us try to outrun pain. We distract ourselves with work. We scroll for hours. We keep ourselves surrounded by people because silence feels too loud. But emotions don't disappear simply because we ignore them. They wait, and eventually they ask to be felt. Psychologists often say that emotions need to be processed, not suppressed. When we constantly avoid difficult feelings, they don't become smaller. They quietly shape the way we think, the way we trust, and the way we love. Solitude creates a safe place for those emotions to finally breathe. Not so they can consume you, but so they can leave. It gives you permission to cry without apologizing, to admit you're angry, to say, I'm not okay today. And somehow, when you stop fighting your emotions, they slowly stop fighting you. Healing rarely happens in the middle of constant noise. It often begins in quiet moments, when you finally sit beside your pain instead of running from it. Because healing isn't forgetting what happened, it's remembering it without it controlling who you become. Solitude helps you make better decisions. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to lose your own opinion in a crowded room? Sometimes we don't choose what feels right, we choose what feels accepted. Human beings naturally seek belonging. In psychology, there's something called social conformity, a tendency to follow the opinions, behaviors, or expectations of people around us, even when they don't truly align with what we believe. It's why we stay in relationships that no longer bring us peace. It's why we choose careers because they are considered successful. It's why we say yes when every part of us wants to say no. Not because we are weak, but because we are human. Solitude interrupts that cycle. When you are alone, there are no voices to impress, no expectations to meet, no pressure to perform. Only one question remains: what feels true to me? Some of the most important decisions you'll ever make deserve silence before they deserve certainty. Because clarity doesn't usually arrive in chaos. It arrives after you have given yourself enough space to think, to reflect, to question, and to listen to that quiet inner voice that's so easy to ignore when everyone else is speaking. Solitude won't always give you the easiest answer, but it often helps you find the honest one. Before we go, I hope this wasn't just another video you watched. I hope this was a conversation you had with yourself. Because solitude isn't something you master overnight, it's a journey. One quiet moment, one difficult truth, and one honest conversation with yourself at a time. As I was writing this video, I realized there was so much more I wanted to share. The psychology behind solitude, the hidden patterns it reveals, how it changes the way we love, create, set boundaries and find peace. And I didn't want to rush through those ideas just to fit them into one video. Some conversations deserve time. So instead of making this one too long, I have decided to continue it in the next video. Because the story of solitude doesn't end with meeting yourself. It begins there. Until then, if life has given you a quiet season, don't be too quick to fill every empty space. Sit with yourself. Listen without judgment. You might discover that the person you have been searching for all this time has been waiting for you in the silence. Take care of your heart. So until next time, see you on